Off-Grid News welcomes you to the news that's not fit to print. My name's Rob. I identify as smart and good-looking. My pronouns are handsome and brilliant. Movie cable provider in California accidentally played an old 1960s John Wayne movie when John Wayne demonstrated how to feed and defend his family. A $400 million class action lawsuit has been filed by 53 young adult males ages 18 to 35 who watched the movie. The suit claims the movie gave the young men undue stress and anxiety, showing a man with too much testosterone and courage. A lawyer for the plaintiffs said the young men had to quit their jobs and go through extensive counseling to try to feel comfortable with their feminine qualities. Biden was asked if he would respond to the lowest poll numbers a president has ever had since the poll has been taken. Biden said he doesn't care about the polls. He cares what the people have to say. And they say high inflation, unsecured borders, terrible withdrawal from Afghanistan, and empty store shelves is just what they needed. And GOP Dr. Caucus demand Fauci apologizes over his moron comment to a United States senator. Fauci said, "Why do a bunch of morons want me to apologize for calling a moron a moron? What morons?" CNN announced a new team dedicated to covering misinformation. Brian Stelter said, "We are looking to hire 3 people that have the ability to jump down every rabbit hole that Trump lies about. Spend hours on the internet defending CNN's honest news from the misinformation Trump spouts. People who get mad every time they see Trump speaking about CNN's fake news. This might be the job for you." Biden was excited to hear oil prices will hit $100 a barrel in 2022. He said his insider trading investments are going to make millions off the oil prices and will set Hunter Biden financially for life. Hunter Biden said, a 37-year-old female middle school teacher sent inappropriate pictures of herself to one of the middle school male students. The student sent the pictures to other male students in her class. One parent of the student who received a copy of the picture said, "The pictures are definitely bad. I wouldn't send a picture like that to my husband," the parent said. It's expected she will receive 6 months probation and never be able to teach again. Prosecutor said the teacher had a lapse in judgment and has certainly paid for her error. An 18-year-old male student sent an inappropriate picture of himself to his 17-year-old girlfriend who he had been dating for 2 years, and he pled guilty. He will serve 40 years in prison and could be released as early as 20 years. He will have to register as a predator list and may not ever have children. Prosecutor said, "We just can't have these men victimizing our young girls." Fox News' Tucker Carlson called Howard Stern a coward for his stance on the vaccine. After decades of Stern standing up for freedom, now he's become a coward. He wants everyone to throw away their freedoms and get vaccinated. Howard Stern replied, "F you, Tucker," leaving one of Stern's listeners say, "Stern has a great argument. I mean, really, the way to beat that idiot Tucker with 2 words is amazing." Meatloaf dies at age 74. The legendary singer and actor, after 57 years, his prayers of the end of time were finally answered so he could end his time with you. Rest in peace, Meatloaf. Your song inspired me to never visit paradise by the dashboard lights. She never told me, "Stop right there." Thanks, Meatloaf. 1/3 of the participants of the vaccine clinical trials are liars. 1/3 of the participants complained of side effects that did not actually receive the vaccine. They were given placebos. The rest of the participants that actually received the vaccine did not have any side effects. The one person who died of heart failure at age 29 after taking the placebo is resting comfortably at a home with his family. Overweight, ladies? Turns out it may not be your fault. If your grandfather or great-grandfather smoked before reaching age 13, then you may have higher body fat than normal. New study found 14,000 women who just happened to know their grandfather or great-grandfather smoked before the age 13 has higher body fat than those who didn't have grandfathers or great-grandfathers who didn't smoke before 13. Off-Grid News asked dozens of people if they knew if their grandfather or great-grandfather smoked before the age 13. Not one could say for sure. Love these studies that have no way of being true, said one man being interviewed by the Off-Grid News. The news is not fit to print. Hostilities between the U.S. and Russia over Ukraine continue to increase, with both Democrats and Republicans supporting taking action against Russia. Nancy Pelosi said in a statement, well, it's important to support Ukraine, so Congress members will continue to profit from illegal business dealings with Ukraine. Biden comments to Harris that he will be her running mate for 2024. Harris said, a flight from Miami to London had to turn around because of a passenger would not put his mask on. Flight attendant told the passenger he had to put his mask on or hold a French fry in his mouth, as a previous passenger did. The plane landed safely and the flight was canceled. When asked, one passenger said, well, they told him to put French fry in his mouth, but they didn't even serve French fries. Representative Henry Sellers' home was raided by the FBI in connection to ties to Azerbaijan illegal business dealings. Hey Google, what party is Representative Henry Sellers affiliated with? The Democrat Party forbids me from disclosing Representative Henry Sellers' party affiliation, said Google. A speaker at the World Economic Forum said, the good news is all the polls show that the elites are collaborating better and coming up with better ideas for the people every year. The bad news is people are less trusting of the elites each year. So we can lead people, but they seem not to want to follow us. CNN's Brian Stelter reported, Florida could become the first state in the country with a dedicated police force to investigating election misconduct. This is a real concern and could keep pollsters from finding ballots in closets at 3 a.m. Governor DeSantis is turning out to be a bigger tyrant than Trump. Who would have ever thought that would have been possible? A judge ruled on Friday that Biden could not require federal employees to be vaccinated. Oh, goody. Here we go again. We'll hear for the next 2 months how unvaccinated people are evil and should die. Months after Brian Laundrie was found dead, investigators discovered Laundrie wrote in his notebook found by his remains that he killed Gabby Petito. The government wonders why I would never trust him. But here's a perfect example. He literally wrote, I killed her, but it took them months to figure it out. I would have thought the first thing they would do is, I don't know, read the notebook. I mean, heck, they could have read it standing next to the dead body. Off-Grid News wants to remind you, just in case you forgot, January 6th, Trump is evil, Capitol protesters are evil, Trump voters are evil. Britain warned Russia and China that its allies would stand together and fight for democracy against dictatorships. Funny how all these little bitty countries talk smack when they think the U.S. will stand with them. Didn't Churchill get his hindside kicked until the U.S. entered the war? New California bill will allow teens as young as 12 to be vaccinated without parents' consent. Is there any way to drop California off into the ocean like Lex Luthor proposed back in the 70s? I'm tired of being angry with him all the time. I have some really bad news. Off-Grid News is under investigation for misinformation and spreading lies. This can't be tolerated, said one viewer, who put the channel on report and sounded eerily like Brian Stelter, CNN. Another said, not one person you mentioned sounds like the people you reported. I've never heard Brian Stelter sound like Mickey Mouse. Off-Grid News had to hire a lawyer to defend itself against these allegations. He gave a press conference the other day and said that 3 powerful words: get a life. Anti-abortion activists marched in Washington. This invasion is worse than the January 6th invaders. These people will be dealt with swiftly and sharply. Nancy Pelosi said. AOC said, oh, this was the most terrifying thing anyone could ever imagine. Millions of people walking around with signs. I had to hide under my desk for hours, sitting in my own urine. Biden plans more public outreach and less legislation in the next year. Senator Cruz said, exactly what legislation is he talking about? I don't remember any legislation getting passed last year. So this year he plans to scold and unvaccinate the people again? Got it. Famous YouTuber Mark Dice is reporting that Trump's son Donald Jr. killed a triceratops in South Africa during a hunting expedition. The beast was very old and weighed in at 12 metric tons. A petition is circulating which has received over 100,000 signatures to arrest Donald Jr. upon his arrival back to the United States. One person in California said, "These animals need our protection. These elite scum think that they own everything. With the planet getting hotter, it's going to be hard enough with these animals to survive as it is, without the Trump family slaughtering them by the thousands." Babylon Bee reports Cracker Jacks changed name to a more politically correct Caucasian Jack. "Well, it's about time. No one needs to be cracking whips anymore," said one New Yorker, who did not realize the name refers to the Navy dress blues, called Cracker Jacks. She continued to say, now they need a product called Caucasian Jill to be more inclusive. Missouri Congresswoman Vicky Hartzler joined a fellow Missouri Senator Josh Hawley to push legislation to ban insider trading in Congress. Nancy Pelosi said, "I can't support this bill when I can trade millions in stocks per year, outperforming the market, because I receive classified briefings of these stocks." Pfizer CEO says Omicron vaccine will be ready in March. Its two main benefits will be, one, the reduction of Omicron mortality from almost zero to almost zero. Billions of dollars of reoccurring revenue for Pfizer, leaving one woman in New York say, "Oh, thank goodness, but we still have to wait until almost a month and a half. How many will have to die before then?" Breakthrough cases grew fourfold during the Omicron because people just refused to get the IV drip vaccine. Looks like we will be going to war with one of our largest adversaries for no apparent reason at all, other than it's been a few months since we've been at war, the Ministry of War said. Truck carrying 100 monkeys crashes in Pennsylvania with several of the monkeys missing. They were being delivered to a lab. A small town of 500 people are being quarantined. General Donald Sutherland, General Morgan Freeman, Colonel Dustin Hoffman, and Major Cuba Gooding Jr. will be in charge of the Army hospital and quarantine procedures. The deadly Matoba virus that was created in a lab during the Vietnam War will kill its victims in just a matter of hours. It's likely that General Donald Sutherland will eradicate the virus and the town with a bomb called the Blue 82 Daisy Cutter. There's concerns, though, that Colonel Dustin Hoffman and Major Cuba Gooding Jr. will try to interfere with the aircraft, codenamed Sandman, that will deliver the Daisy Cutter. Tom Hanks will narrate a 2-minute video marking President Joe Biden's first year and underscoring his success. Tom Hanks has spent weeks trying to get the correct cadence and accent of the president. Look. Come on, man. Look. 95% are still open. 95%, man. Come on, Joey, baby. Babylon Bee reports M&M's introduces a new character who identifies as a Skittle. Its pronouns are S and M. You will be able to taste the rainbow while it melts in your mouth. A new company wants to bring back the woolly mammoth with a $15 million in private funding. The company wants to turn the animal into a theme park on an island in the Pacific. It will bring 3 scientists to the park to determine its safety. After a storm knocks out all the electric on the park, the massive beast will escape its confinement and kill everyone except the heroes of the park. So that's all your news that's not fit to print. Please share this with your friends on other social media sites. Click subscribe to get further updates. Thanks for watching.